Welcome to all our viewers around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sciangula for the Live4Live Entertainment Talk Show, and I will be your host for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a great lineup for you. We have Mr. Pino Pirillo, a great comedian, a brilliant actor, with us here tonight. And we also have the Italian tenor, Mr. Canestrari, who will be performing his songs with us tonight, including Nessun Dorma. And we will also be introducing our new fall sponsors tonight. And we will also have our quotes of the day and the Did You Know segment. We will be doing this tonight for you, so ladies and gentlemen, just sit back and we'll be back.
The Live4Live Entertainment Talk Show is brought to you by the following sponsors: Mercedes-Benz Montréalais, Méga Centre Group, Les Délices Lafrenière, Assistance Ticket, Tyron Renovations, Kitchen 73 RDP, Remax Real Estate Joe Magri, and SME Sécurité.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And now this is the new segment of our show, which we're going to feature quotes of the day. We're going to share some very interesting quotes from some very interesting people, such as Albert Einstein. And I thought it interesting maybe that we can share this with you. And this is where we're going to have the segment of the day and the quotes of the day. The first quote of the day is, "Stay away from negative people. They have a problem for every solution. Don't point fingers, because the other three point at you. You want to make God laugh? Make plans. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results." Very interesting. Logic will get you far from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. And we'll be back. And now we have a few quotes from the Did You Know segment. And this is related to music. Did you know that the Four Tops were touring in London, England, and they had just finished their show and were scheduled to leave on a Pan Am flight from London to New York. After the show, they partied all night, and scheduled to leave early morning, they missed their flight. It was a Pan Am flight, which was London to New York, and believe it or not, it was the Pan Am Lockerbie bombing flight that they were supposed to be on. So, talking about destiny, thank God they woke up late, because had they not, or had they made the flight, they would have been on that plane, which was blasted up in the air, as we all know. Another segment, Did You Know? There were 6 musicians playing street music in Philadelphia. And some gentleman passing by looked at them, and he called them a bunch of tramps. The original name were called the Vagabonds. The street musicians thought it to be a very interesting idea, and they liked the name the Tramps. And that's how the very famous disco band, the Tramps, came about. Just thought I'd let you know, and this is our Did You Know segment. So now we're going to take a break, and we'll be back. Welcome to all our viewers around the world. My name is Sciangula, and I'm your host for the Live4Live Entertainment Talk Show. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have a special guest. and a very funny, brilliant comedian. He's Italian and has performed in various venues. And we'll be performing soon at the Live4Live Festival. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Mr. Pino Pirillo. Welcome, Pino. Welcome. There's your mic. Make yourself comfortable like everybody else. There we go.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Pino, thank you for coming. It took a bit of time to get you here, but we got you here.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to be here.
And I have to tell you, I was impressed to see the quality of your material. It was very interesting. Kudos, thumbs up. I think you got a very nice style. How long have you been doing this, Pino?
For a short amount of time. I've only been doing comedy for close to 4 years now. So it's not...
Do you do this part-time or
I do this part-time, yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
so you got a full-time job.
I got a full-time job,
Okay,
yeah.
great, good stuff. Your wife won't get upset with you.
I got to feed two. Can you do a feed? I got to feed 2 kids.
There you go. I saw your interview on Breakfast Television, by the way. Great interview.
Oh,
good
thank
stuff.
you very much. Thank you.
I thought it was a very insightful. As a matter of fact, that's when I found out about the Laval Festival that you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the Laval Festival for Laughs?
Well, it's the first of its kind. So Laval has come together as a community. And they've now put together this festival. It's called Festival de Rire de Laval, and it's going on from the 20th of September to the 27th. And there's various venues. You could see them online. And we're gonna, myself and several other comedians are gonna be performing on the 21st at Cabaret C in Laval.
Cabaret C. Now, these are venues. The different venues you're going to be performing are either restaurants.
No. They're predominant. It's all theaters.
It's all theaters.
It's all theaters
in Laval.
In Laval, correct.
Fantastic. Yeah. Now, you do mostly Italian comedy, English comedy. Or you combine both. What's your spin?
It's predominantly in English, even with the little bit of Italian that I do put in. It's always well translated, so anybody can kind of get a good feel for the type of comedy that I do. I can't help the fact that I am Italian, so yes, I sometimes get typecasted, if you will, as a
stigmatized.
Yeah, as an Italian comedian, but it's mostly in English and some French as well.
Well, let me ask you now. What is your take on? I noticed there's a surge of Italian comedians, Montreal, Toronto, and I'm very impressed with the quality. There's some better, some less attractive, of course, which is only normal. What is your this resurgence of Italian comedians? This is due to what? Is it because you had one guy that started the lead, or is it just something that progressively took its own shape?
That's a very good question. I think if I had to put my finger on it, and I don't think this was ever discussed amongst us Italian comedians, I just think it's an appreciation of our culture. I would say first and foremost. In my case, it's sort of a way for me to remember my grandparents who are no longer with us, and the values that they instilled, and kind of like the very Italian way of instilling values, which was mostly trying to scare the hell out of you while trying to teach you a lesson.
You're preaching to the choir. Right. I understand.
Exactly.
We can share the same experience.
So it's a generation that I appreciate, and I think a lot of us do. One of my close friends, a comedian, Guido Grasso, he always mentions it in his shows that it is a generation that we're losing every day. Hardworking Italian Americans that kind of built this country with literally their bare hands, and they had a certain way of telling stories and a certain way of educating us, and we've kind of added a little comedic spin to it, and we put it into our comedy. So now, to answer your question, why is there an insurgence? I think social media has a big factor in that.
Absolutely, yes.
It's kind of brought in the world become a lot smaller and the stage a lot bigger, and it's something that we gravitate towards because it rings true. So
Absolutely.
we're paying a lot more attention to our Italian roots.
So let me ask you now, you're an East End guy. I've asked this question to Guido, another colleague of yours, a good friend. When you prepare material, for example, you're playing in the East End now, you're going to go to the West Side, or you're going to Toronto, or maybe to the States, or sometime in Western Canada. Different demographics, et cetera, et cetera. How do you prepare for something like that?
Well, it's exactly, you have to look at the area in which you're performing. So if I am doing a show, let's say typically, let's say it's for Saint Leonard, right? So you make reference to certain restaurants or bars or areas within that vicinity, so that people that come from there could, they could sort of get where you're coming from. But what's really interesting about the Italian communities all over North America, and I've had the amazing opportunity to travel to some of those neighborhoods, is that wherever Italians have settled, they're all the same. The stories are all the same. The basements look all the same.
So now, I like that one. So now, have you had any inspiration from, or most of the inspiration you've had comes from where? Is it your parents? Is there a particular comedian that has really inspired you, where you said, he's the guy I want to imitate? Or what's the take on all of that?
Well, yeah, I guess like every artist, you sort of pull from, people that have influenced you. I would have to say that, obviously Joe Avati, being one of the first to bring Italian comedy or ethnic Italian comedy to the stage. And then there's also Russell Peters, who is considered to be one of the biggest comedians out there. It's sort of it's that ethnic comedy, and kind of no matter which ethnic group you're performing in front of, there's a lot of similarities in the way that we were raised.
So what's your take on comedy, the Johnny Carson era, Jay Leno era, versus today's era of talk shows and comedy?
Well, that's a great question. I'm kind of conflicted between the two, if you will, because I do enjoy, let's call it the newer age comedy, where you're really shooting and speaking, not so much from the heart, but from the gut, from the roots, like talking to your friends in a schoolyard or in a bar. It's really raw. It's the way you speak. But the Johnny Carsons of the day was very classy, and there was no vulgarity by any means. But they kind of they brushed upon certain things. They kind of walked that fine line. There was a fine line that they walked. So where I kind of fall in between. I don't consider myself classy at all, but it's sort of if I had to categorize the type of comedy that I do versus what it has influenced me, it's a perfect mixed bag.
Well, this is a very interesting conversation. You're going to stay with us, of course,
absolutely,
Pino.
absolutely.
Okay, there's nobody waiting for you outside?
No,
okay.
no.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break to a commercial sponsor, and we got a special guest tonight, singing guest, Mr. Perry Canestrari, who will be performing 5 songs tonight due to the request that we've had, and he will be performing his signature song, Nessun Dorma, right here tonight. So we're going to go to a commercial break, and then we're going to go to one of Perry's songs, and we're going to have Perry back with us together, and we're going to have a little bit of an interview with him as well. So we'll be back.
Tierra soñada por mí, mi cantar se vuelve gitano cuando es para ti. Mi cantar hecho de fantasía, mi cantar flor de melancolía, que yo en tardes de toros. Mujer que conserva el embrujo de los ojos moros, de sueño rebelde gitana cubierta de flores, y beso tu boca de grana, jugosa manzana que me habla de amores. Rara alma no la cantará en coplas preciosas. No tengo otra cosa que darte que ramo de rosas de suave fragancia que le dieran marco a la Virgen morena. Granada, tu tierra está llena de lindas mujeres de sangre de sol. De rosas de suave fragancia que le dieran marco a la Virgen morena. Granada, tu tierra está llena de lindas mujeres de sangre de sol.
Welcome back, and now we've got our commercial segment, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, as you well know, our sponsor segment includes Mercedes-Benz Montréal Est. Again, Mr. Phil Salvatore, he's the man. Mega Centre with Miss Angela Gentili, true professionals. Tyron Construction, Mr. Angelo Waragna, great builder. These three sponsors have been with us, and we will be showing their new commercials in our new segment coming up soon. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Charles Sciangula for the Live4Live Entertainment Talk Show, and we just finished our first segment with the funny man, Mr. Pino Pirillo, and we're going to be giving you a little more information in reference to his next show. Meanwhile, we have a special guest, singing guest with us tonight, and he will be singing, as you just heard, one of his renditions, and we have him here together with us tonight, and Pino will be co-hosting with us as well. So I'd like to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Perry Canestrari. Perry, welcome.
Hi, Mr. Sciangula. How are you?
It's a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you.
You know, Perry, I've been thinking about you. When are we going to have you on? When are we going to have you on? Want to just do a sound check that it's working?
Hey.
You want to do a sound check?
Hello.
There you go. Perfect. We're good. Jesse says we're good out there. Okay, Jesse. Perry, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. I've been one of your biggest fans, as I think you know that.
And I'm one of your biggest fans because I always watch you dance on the dance floor.
Thank you very much. I have a knee problem, so right now we're going to do a little less moves on the dance floor. Perry, just want to mention to you that I had a lot of people, I had mentioned to them that we may have you as a guest. And the first thing that they says, if he comes as a guest, we want him to sing Nessun Dorma. So that's, at least in my opinion, one of your signature songs.
In musical terms, they call that, in Italian, say cavallo di battaglia, basically a battle horse.
Okay.
Cheval de bataille is one of, it's a song that is repeatedly in the repertoire and is sung.
Of everybody's...
exactly, of whether tenor, soprano, or any type of artist.
Fantastic. Perry, you know, you have a classical background, obviously.
Definitely, a classical formation.
And you studied at the McGill, if I understand correctly, right?
Yes, I started off, I was very serious in my music when I decided in high school, because in secondary 3 we had the choice of doing either the arts or the sciences. Well, hats off to the people who love the sciences, we need that too, but my interest was more geared towards the arts. And that's where I decided, I think, secondary 3, 4, and 5, and in secondary 5 at my graduation, I won the Best Achievement Award for Musical Studies in 3 years. So that gave me more the incentive to say, yes, I'm going to go on. I went to CEGEP, I went to Vanier College in Ville-Saint-Laurent, and then I pursued 4 years at McGill University Faculty of Music. But I forgot to mention that in between, when I was studying in CEGEP, I took a year of jazz. So that opened my mind basically to
a different style.
Different styles and different. But although I always loved pop, I grew up singing and listening to pop. I grew up with idols such as Elvis, Tom Jones. I mean, we're talking back retro, right? Engelbert Humperdinck.
Right.
But then, obviously, in the mature years, it was Luciano Pavarotti, Sergio Franchi. So that's where I got basically my tenorism influences.
Now, opera.
Yes.
I heard you sing some opera songs, which you just got everybody's attention. Everybody was with their mouths open when you started singing.
Were they eating at that point?
Not really, but I can tell you one thing: you got everybody's attention. And to all the viewers around the world, when you hear this gentleman sing, you're going to hear something special tonight. I'm sure you heard it already on the previous song, and he's going to be performing 4 other songs on this show. Now, very few people will be able to imitate his style of singing, and I can only tell you that he's got a different range. Like he said, he can do Elvis, like he can do Engelbert, Tom Jones, and then he can do Luciano Pavarotti. Very few people can do that, so kudos to you. Thumbs up, by the way. Now, as far as, your progression, you started singing in a band, if I'm correct, at one point?
No, actually, I started... we were in Italy. I was 4 years old, and all of a sudden, in the living room, my parents look at me, and I just started singing out of the blue. And they're looking at me, and they say, "Where do you come from? Where do you come out of?" So that's when I remember that obviously I shied away from singing for a number of years because it was just a discovery. But I also had other talents. I had percussive talents, basically.
Okay.
Drumming, right? Percussion.
Okay.
So obviously, when I went to when I studied in CEGEP and at McGill, I had a double major. I was in percussion and in voice. But then, you know what? I said, percussion. Where is it going to get me? Is it going to get me?
Probably go a little further singing, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I felt I kind of projected, and I said I knew where that vocal art had many avenues, and that's where I dropped my percussion. I passed my exams, and I furthered my studies in vocal art.
Great. Pino, you want to ask Perry anything?
I want to know, what did your parents think when you decided to go on the artist side versus the science side?
Not a problem, because my father obviously came over to Canada, immigrated with his parents, and obviously with his brother in 1948. And my father pursued, that was one of his passions. So I guess it's in the heritage, it's in the blood. So I can't say that. I know of a lot of stories in the Italian community where, are you going to play the accordion, or are you going to play that? No, it's better to be a tailor. We know construction or whatever, renovation. I mean, hats off to whatever people have chosen in their lives. But obviously I never had the problem of somebody negating me, saying that's not good for you. I was always reinforced and I'm looking for a word here.
Encouraged.
Encouraged, exactly. So.
Positively reinforced.
Positively
for
reinforced, exactly.
To do what you
All the
wanted
way,
to do
yeah, yeah.
as far as your dream. Pino, go ahead.
Yes.
Oh no, that was I was just out of curiosity because it's funny that you mentioned that I have seen my father kind of get a little bit uncomfortable in his seat when I was younger, and he saw that my passion was for acting or for comedy, but he always encouraged it. He always encouraged
But when
it.
did you know, Pino, that you wanted to do comedy? At a young age you said one day I'm going to do it, or 4 years ago did you just flip the switch and said you want to do comedy?
Stand-up comedy was something I touched upon in high school. I had done it for a variety show and I really loved it, but acting was where my mind was. And because of, I guess, my upbringing, or I always wanted to make sure I was a little bit more secured because it's a very, tough industry.
Vulnerable
to crack.
industry, yes.
I said, let me learn the back, whatever's
Backside.
happening in the back of the studio. So in Dawson, I studied radio and television broadcasting, and then I went on to private school, which was the radio and television broadcasting school of Montreal. Worked for, at the time was Standard Radio, which is now Bell Media. I worked, for 4 years in the overnights and so on and so forth, and life kind of took off from there. But stand-up was never something that I had in my mind till about 4 years ago when I bumped into Guido after many years of not seeing him, and he's like, you know what, you got to try.
Great.
And that's basically
Well, this is a very interesting trio interview over here. What we're going to do is we're going to go to another one of Perry's songs, and we're going to go for a commercial break at the same time for our sponsors. And we'll be back with Perry and Pino Pirillo, and we'll continue this interview after this break and after the song from Mr. Perry Canestrari. Thank you.
Che bella cosa è una giornata di sole, un'aria serena dopo una tempesta, e l'aria fresca pare già una festa. Che bella cosa è una giornata di sole, quando fa notte il sole se ne scende, me vede quasi una malinconia sotto la finestra, toia resteria. Quando fa notte il sole se ne scende, ma non il sole più bello è oh sole mio, sta in fronte a te. Oh sole mio, sta in fronte a te, sta in fronte a te. A little trumpet playing here. It's not me. A little special thing. We all like to hear a big band. It's coming back, it's come back. But personally, a song that was written in 1896, like El Sole Mio, I think that's my history is right, should be sung traditionally. Like this. We're going to change band in a few seconds.
Welcome back to all our viewers around the world. And you just heard Mr. Perry Canestrari's talent. Now you know exactly who Perry is. Now, we're back with our third segment of the interview with Mr. Perry Canestrari and Mr. Pino Pirillo. Perry, I just want to ask you, where are you working right now? What's going on in your life?
Well, basically, we call it, it's a terminology that's been around for a long time, freelancing.
Okay.
I used to work with an orchestra before. I don't know if we're allowed to mention names.
You may, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I was with Giorgio Fiori Orchestra. We did the wedding circuit, the hotel circuit.
That's right.
I started off there, and that gave me the exposure. I was at the right time at the right place, and that's what launched me into the Anglophone, Italian, Jewish, Francophone. Did I say? Francophone, yeah, Anglophone communities.
Fantastic. And what are your aspirations now? You're at a certain age. You've traveled. Is there anything that you want to accomplish before you maybe want to go a little slower in life?
You know what? I find myself probably accelerating a little more than I've taken different venues, taken different ways of performing, different ideas. Obviously, thanks to technology, that gives way to a lot of new imagination.
That's
what
correct.
we said
Absolutely, absolutely.
And it opens up a lot of things, different venues.
Well, I can tell you the best years of your life are still yet to come. I can only speak for myself, and I tell everybody, today we have a little more maturity, a little more experience, and we enjoy the moment in a different way. Yeah. When you're young, you're a bit of a cowboy here and there, so we don't appreciate certain things. But I still say God gives us the health to want to do it, is that the best years of our lives, I think, are still yet to come.
You have a great point, because from a singer's point of view, obviously, when people ask me questions about the songs that I used to sing maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago, they're not the same now, because obviously in French we say, on a un vécu, we have lived some emotion somewhere along the line on the path of life, and it's transformed, it's transcended into different ways, shapes, and forms. So equals the output of a different interpretation of the same song, or than anybody else sings.
Fantastic. Well, I've listened to some of your songs 10 years ago. I've listened to you 5 years ago, and so forth. And you're very consistent as far as your voice is concerned. At least that's my perception. Have you noticed that your voice has gotten maybe a little more mature as you go on, or? Well,
that's definite. Usually the voice, I mean, obviously without Stravizi, without any les mauvaises habitudes, what they say in French, vices, that's it. Drinking is not a good thing, although sometimes.
So the wine, women, and song
don't
go together?
The wine is out. And you asked me before, I lost weight. Yes,
you look absolutely great, Perry.
I still have maybe 7 or 8 pounds.
Thumbs up. Good for you, really.
So basically, all that, if you take care of yourself really as you should, voice does change. It probably darkens.
Deeper,
becomes a little heavier.
Yes.
But that's what really happens, basically. So.
Okay. Now. Is there one, when in growing up, is there one particular guy for example, when I used to see you sing, I says, this guy is Pavarotti #2. Now, in growing up, who was your idol, mentor?
Very easy to answer. It was at about the age of 8, 9, I used to be, at that time we used to have console furniture phonographs, right?
Absolutely.
With the radio, AM.
I still have one of those, by the way.
Hey, keep it. That's worth money.
Absolutely.
And it was Engelbert Humperdinck.
Oh yes.
But Engelbert, I used to play. I remember that. Do you remember The Way It Used to Be? Lonely table just for one. But you know what? What remarks me, what hits me the most, I mean, is that a lot of these songs that have been taken from Engelbert, Tom Jones, they're basically all Italian almost.
Are they really?
A lot of Italian songs. Well, Delilah.
True.
The Way It Used to Be.
Yes.
That melodia, melodia, whatever the words are. I can't name any other one because there's so much, So, but yes, Engelbert was my idol.
Well, we chose on our third episode, we played some Engelbert Humperdinck songs, and we played them when they were with analog audio.
Yeah.
And we played 2 songs. Engelbert, I forget the titles of the songs, And immediately when we played those songs, and you saw these were old video that we were playing, old videos, the ratings, the audience viewers immediately, you can see the graph as soon as he was playing just went up. So
but it's,
that says it's paramount.
did you know that Engelbert Humperdinck is not his real name?
What's his real name?
His name is George Arnold Dorsey, because in the mid-60s he was starving. He was trying to grab onto the ladder of success.
And that's the name he went with.
No, actually, Tom Jones and Engelbert had the same manager.
Oh.
And Gordon Mills was his name, and Gordon went up to George Arnold Dorsey, alias Engelbert.
George Arnold Dorsey.
Yeah.
So for all the viewers out there, if Engelbert, may
I
God
wish you
bless. This now we know your real name. But where did that was a show name, Engelbert
No,
Humperdinck?
actually, it was an 18th century German composer. Engelbert Humperdinck is so catchy. And I just like to also outline that I did meet Engelbert Humperdinck in person. That was one of my dreams. I did meet
in Montreal?
In Casino de Hall.
Ah, okay.
Luciano Pavarotti, because I used to study voice with a certain lady who was very good friends with him. Celine Dion, I sang for her. I didn't work with her.
Okay.
Because at that time she was pregnant with her first child. Gino Vanelli.
Oh, nice.
I have Ginette Renault.
Beautiful. One of my favorites.
I think
what a voice. What a
to
voice.
me, the lady of
Absolutely. Class and elegance.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Of French pop.
Absolutely.
I don't know now, but maybe in the past. But I think she still might have it under her belt, because she still belts out the
Very
songs.
few people could belt what she can belt. And
the lady.
Would you say you sing in 4 languages, obviously, right?
Actually, I was doing my CV this morning. I was counting French, English, Italian. Did I miss one? Spanish. Obviously, because I worked in churches, and I still do, because I do all kinds of stuff, all kinds of events. Latin, because Ave Maria and Panis Angelicus are asked all over, and I do and Latin, and also because of my training at McGill, we had to learn also German.
Oh, that's how do you sing opera in German?
I don't sing opera. It's just a subject. To me, I found it a little bit so different, because obviously being Italian blood,
you don't have
Italian
the O's.
mentality,
You don't have the O's and the A's.
don't have that in my thinking. I don't have German in my thinking, and you can't sing. An Italian can't sing German. I'm sorry.
It's very difficult.
You know,
it's very challenging.
It's very challenging. You have to live the culture, feel
yes.
it. And I sat back and I said, you know what? You're Italian. You live Italian. You breathe Italian. And I said, I'm going to do what I know how to do best.
Fantastic.
Sing in Italian.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have tonight, we're going to be playing another song, 2 more songs from Perry. And we have here tonight 4 CDs, all right, that we're going to be giving away. Believe me, you got to get your hands on this stuff. You can't get enough of this. Now, if you go onto Perry Canestrari's Facebook page, all right, just give him a thumbs up, and we've got 4 CDs we're giving away tonight.
Or may I outline? perrycanestrari.com.
Or perrycanestrari.com. There you go. So just get in touch with him. The first 4 people that will interact with him will get 4 free CDs. I want to give another plug to our good friend here, Mr. Pino Pirillo, who will be performing September 21st at Cabaret C. C'est la 1600 La Rue Robinson in Laval. It is the launch of the Laval for Laughs Festival. I think it's a great opportunity to see some of the local talent and international talent. And kudos to Mr. Morabito and Mr. Franco Tadeo for that particular festival. I think it's great. So once more, what we're going to do now is we're going to go to a commercial break, and we're going to go to another Perry Canestrari song. And whatever you do, don't go away. Don't touch the dial. We'll be back for more.
s'effondrer et la terre peut bien s'écrouler. Peu m'importe si tu m'aimes, je me fous du monde entier. Tant que l'amour inondera mes matins, tant que mon corps frémira sous tes mains, peu m'importe les problèmes, mon amour, puisque tu m'aimes. J'irai jusqu'au bout du monde, je me ferai teindre en blanc si tu me le demandais. J'irai décrocher la lune, j'irai voler la fortune si tu me le demandais. Je réunirai ma patrie, je réunirai mes amis si tu me le demandais. On peut bien rire de moi, je ferai n'importe quoi, je ferai n'importe quoi si tu me le demandais. Si un jour la vie t'arrache à moi, si tu meurs, que tu sois loin de moi, peu m'importe si tu m'aimes, car moi je mourrai aussi. Nous aurons pour nous l'éternité dans le bleu de toute l'immensité, dans le ciel, plus de problèmes. Mon amour, crois-tu qu'on s'aime? Ceux qui s'aiment.
And now this is our second segment for our sponsors. And we're just going to introduce Les Délices Lafrenet with Mr. Pepe and Joe Ruvo. I just want to give you guys a heads up that Mr. Joe Ruvo from Les Délices Lafrenet will be here as our sponsor of the week next week's program. And we've got the new cake boss coming into town over here. Les Délices Lafrenet, Mr. Joseph Ruvo and Mr. Pepe. Kudos to all you guys. Kitchen 73, Mr. Ross Magri. He's the man that you want to go see. Just walk in, say hello to him. True gentleman, true professional. And we also have a new sponsor, Remax, Mr. Joe Magri. A true gentleman, very knowledgeable of the real estate business, very courteous, and he will take care of all your questions when it comes to purchasing your home. And we also have, of course, Ticket Assistance, Miss Sandra Tagliapietra. For all you people wanting to get legal counsel on tickets, how to contest them, she's the lady you want to call. Miss Sandra Tagliapietra, ladies and gentlemen.
driving a Jeep, but he ain't in the army. Gets all the cigarette money from his mommy. Dressed like a rootin' tootin' Texas cowboy. But this Lone Ranger's never seen a horse. You wanna be Americano, Americano, Americano. He wants to drive a Cadillac. Who's chasing showgirls, smoking cans, whiskey and soda. But he's never going back. He's cruising streets for gold, dressed in designer clothes. Brother, if you're just too slow, you better not blink or you wind up in the drink. Wanna be Americano, Americano, Americano. Gotta buy a diamond ring, cause that's his baby's favorite thing. Okay, alright, yeah man, wanna be American, wanna be American. He's in the land where anything can happen. Reach for the stars and grab that golden ring. Just remember he's Americano. Well, watch it, pal, cause he'll take everything. You wanna be Americano, Americano, Americano. He wants to drive a Cadillac. Who's chasing showgirls, smoking camels, whiskey and soda. Now he's never going back. He likes that rock and roll. He's playing baseball. Loves Marilyn Monroe. The Coca-Cola show and a pizza pie to go. Wanna be Americano, Americano, Americano. Gotta buy a diamond ring, cause that's his favorite thing. Okay, alright, yeah man. Wanna be American, wanna be American, wanna be American. Hey!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and this is another segment where we're going to introduce our new sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Ross Magri from Kitchen 73 RDP. Mr. Magri, he's been in the business, in the real estate business, and now he's getting into the restaurant business. Kitchen 73, a great concept. You know, Ross Magri, he's a people's man, and when you walk in, you got to say hello to him. He's the man that you want to talk to. He'll take care of you. A perfect gentleman, a true professional. And we also have from Remax, Mr. Joe Magri. You have to, if you're on the market wanting to purchase anything as far as real estate is concerned, he's the man. He's very knowledgeable of the real estate business, whether it's you want to buy, you want to lease, etc. Mr. Joe Magri, he's the one that you want to see from Remax out in the East End. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are new sponsors coming up on the next show.
Spanish eyes, teardrops are falling from your Spanish eyes. Please, please don't cry. You know what? This is just adios and not goodbye. Soon I will return, bringing you all the love your heart can hold. Please say, say you and your Spanish eyes will wait for me. Oh, I remember this one. Yes. I can remember when we walked together, sharing a love I thought would last forever. Moonlight to show the way so we can follow. Waiting inside her eyes was my tomorrow. Then something changed her mind. Her kisses told me I had no loving arms to hold me. Every day I wake up, then I start to break up, lonely as a man without love. Every day I start out, then I cry my heart out, lonely as a man without love. Every day I wake up, then I start to break up, knowing that it's cloudy above. Every day I start out, then I cry my heart out, lonely as a man without love. You're gonna tell me when you'll be mine. Quando, quando? Dimmi quando tu verrai. Dimmi quando, quando. L'anno, giorno, l'ora in cui forse tu mi bacerai. When will you say yes to me? Tell me quando, quando. Oh, you mean happiness to me. Oh, my love, please tell me when. Every moment today, every day seems a lifetime. Come on, let me show you the way to a joy beyond compare. No, it's not the last song, but the last waltz. I wonder, should I go or should I stay? You know what I think? My band is just one more song to play. You know what, baby? And then I saw you out the corner of my eye. A little girl, alone and so shy. I had the last waltz with you. Two lonely people together. I fell in love with you. The last waltz should last forever. It's all over now, nothing left to say, just my tears and the orchestra play. One of Engelbert's, the greatest song of Engelbert and his hit is the following. Please release me, let me go. 'Cause I don't love you anymore. To waste our lives would be a sin. So release me and let me love again. Please release me, can't you see? You'd be a fool to cling to me, oh yeah. To live a life would bring us pain. So release me and let me love